You might not agree with me, but I really think The Expendables 5 needs to happen, if for no other reason than to finally break an annoying career pattern that's messed up a lot of Stallone's films. Plus, rumor has it that Guy Ritchie might be stepping in to save the Expendables franchise, so let's dive into everything we know about Expendables 5. First off, this sequel needs to break one of Stallone's worst career habits and finally kill off Barney Ross. Now, let's be real. The Expendables movies were originally meant to be a dream team of action stars uniting legends like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Harrison Ford, Jet Li, and more under one explosive franchise. Yet, despite all that star power, the series has never reached its full potential. After the disaster that was Expendables 4, it seems like the franchise might be done for good. Maybe that's not such a bad thing, considering how rough the fourth movie was. Expendables 4 tried to pull a major plot twist by making it seem like Barney Ross was killed off early in the film, only to later reveal it was all a fake-out. Unfortunately, the execution of that storyline was so predictable that it completely fell flat. Killing off Barney for real and passing the torch to Jason Statham's character, Christmas, would have made way more sense. But Stallone's unwillingness to let his characters die stripped the sequel of any real stakes. This is why The Expendables 5 needs to finally live up to its name. The whole franchise is supposed to be about a team of elite mercenaries who take on near-impossible missions. Yet the body count within the actual team is shockingly low. The only expendable who has actually died so far is Liam Hemsworth's Billy the Kid, and while some characters have gotten banged up, most walk away unscathed. If The Expendables 5 really wants to shake things up, it needs to break this trend and finally take Barney out of the equation for good. The third movie already hinted at the team getting older and slower, so it makes sense that at some point Barney would push his luck too far. His death would not only raise the stakes, but also give the franchise a fresh start. Whether the leadership goes to Christmas or someone new, it would allow the story to move forward and bring in new blood. Plus, let's be honest, it was just weird that Expendables 4 handled Barney's death so badly. His fake memorial was attended by only a handful of current team members, while major past characters like Trench or Doc were nowhere to be seen. If Barney's going to go out, he deserves a proper send-off. Killing off a main character won't automatically make The Expendables 5 a great movie, but at least it would bring some much-needed tension and unpredictability to the series. After 4 movies that follow the same formula, it's time for a real shakeup. Part of the problem is that Stallone just doesn't like letting his characters die. Since 1978's FISD, where he played a labor union leader who gets gunned down, he's basically refused to be killed off in his movies. Stallone himself has admitted he didn't like how FISD ended because he felt it sent a message that evil wins, and ever since, he's made sure his characters always survive. It's understandable. Audiences love seeing their heroes triumph. But at this point, his refusal to kill off his characters is holding him back. There have been a few exceptions, but they're minor ones. His villainous character in Ratchet and Clank was destroyed, and his twin brother in Samaritan also died, but that's about it. Even when he planned to kill off Rocky in Rocky V or Rambo in Last Blood, he ultimately backed out. While this approach may have worked for him in the past, it's become a problem. Some of his movies, like Get Carter or Rambo, Last Blood, could have been stronger if they had committed to a darker, more definitive ending. If The Expendables 5 is going to be the final entry in the franchise, then giving Barney a proper send-off is the best way to wrap things up. The original Expendables had a bit of a serious, introspective tone at times, especially when it focused on Barney as an aging mercenary looking for meaning in his violent life. While later movies lean more into over-the-top action, a fifth film could bring things full circle. Imagine a storyline where the team reunites to avenge Barney's death. This would add some much-needed emotional depth and stakes to the series. Barney has always been the heart of the team, almost like a father figure to the rest of the crew. His death would give the film an emotional core, making the story about more than just blowing things up. If The Expendables 5 is meant to be the grand finale, then the team avenging their leader before disbanding or passing the torch to a new generation would be a powerful way to end it all. It could also give Christmas a reason to step away from the mercenary life while he still has the chance. Looking at the franchise's track record, it's clear that something needs to change. The first two Expendables movies performed decently at the box office, with Expendables 2 being the high point. But things took a sharp downturn with Expendables 3 and 4, which not only flopped financially, but were also slammed by critics. The last movie, especially, was a disaster, grossing only $51 million on a $100 million budget and earning a terrible 14% on Rotten Tomatoes. Clearly, audiences aren't interested in the same old formula anymore. So if the Expendables 5 wants to have any chance at redemption, it needs to take risks. Killing off Barney Ross for real this time would be a bold move, but it's exactly the kind of shakeup the franchise needs. Whether or not Stallone will finally break his no-death rule remains to be seen. But if he truly wants to give the series the ending it deserves, it's time to say goodbye to Barney once and for all. Furthermore, I believe Guy Ritchie is the guy we need for the Expendables 5. He cast Jason Statham in 1998's Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, effectively launching the action star's career. Statham had virtually no acting experience before Ritchie took a chance on him, but the low-budget crime comedy became a word-of-mouth hit. Seeing the potential in his new leading man, Ritchie cast Statham again in Snatch, further cementing his place in Hollywood. Over the years, their careers diverged, but they reunited multiple times, with Wrath of Man standing out as one of Statham's best thrillers in recent memory. Given that The Expendables is in dire need of fixing, it seems like Ritchie might just be the perfect guy for the job. Ritchie has become one of Hollywood's most consistent directors, churning out big-budget films nearly every year since 2015. Many of his movies, like The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, Operation Fortune, Ruse de Guerre, and the upcoming In the Gray, feature ensemble casts and thrilling action sequences. While some of his films receive mixed reviews, Ritchie never phones it in. Even his lesser outings have a distinct energy to them, and he has a knack for staging creative, practical action sequences. This kind of fresh perspective is exactly what the Expendables franchise needs. Sylvester Stallone has largely been the driving force behind the Expendables, but over time, the sequels have lacked a strong, authorial voice. Bringing Ritchie into the fold could inject the series with new life, giving it a distinct style and energy. Plus, his long-standing history with Statham means the two would be on the same creative wavelength, making for a smoother and more effective collaboration. Unfortunately, Expendables 4 made nearly every mistake possible. The story was deeply unoriginal, the CGI was embarrassingly cheap, and the action failed to stand out. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop. And if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments.